The next thing that we will talk about is angle increments. Angle increments basically give us a way to take angle measure units, which is normally degrees, and break them down into smaller pieces. You can think about, if we're trying to propel a rocket to the moon and we need to direct the rocket in a measure of, let's say, 43 degrees from the horizon, if we're off by even a fraction, then by the time we get our rocket out to the moon, then we will have bypassed the moon by very much. So we need to somehow make our angle measures very, very precise and very, very specific. First of all, I want to talk about several conversions. These conversions can be thought about as being similar to measures on a clock. Okay, measures on a clock, we think about our big units as being hours. Okay, as far as degrees is concerned, we can think about our big measures as being degrees. On the clock, smaller measures are called minutes, and then even smaller measures are called seconds. Angle increments are denoted the same way. Our first conversion that we talk about is we talk about taking a single degree and breaking it into 60 equal-sized smaller pieces. So 1 degree is going to equal 60 minutes. We use a dash to indicate that we're talking about minutes. The next conversion, we can break 1 minute down into 60 equal-sized smaller units. And so 1 minute becomes 60 seconds. We use 2 dashes to note when we need to talk about seconds. Now, these two alone basically leads to at least several other conversions. Think about a third conversion as 1 minute is the larger measure, then you go to minutes, and then you go to seconds. So in 1 degree, being the larger unit, you could also convert into seconds, the smallest unit that we are talking about here. Think about if in 1 degree there are 60 minutes, in each minute there would be 60 seconds. So if there's 60 minutes and in each minute there's 60 seconds, there's a total of 60 times 60 seconds in a degree. And so 1 degree is equal to 3,600 seconds. Now, likewise, we can also think about, and I'm not going to list these as conversions because you can derive these from what we already have written, but you can also think about this. Let's talk about 1 minute. Let's say we needed to convert that back to degrees. Well, 1 minute is 1/60th of a degree. All right, we can do the same thing. Let's say we have 1 second. If we want to convert that back to degrees, that would be 1/3600th of a degree. Okay, also, let's say we had 1 second. That would be 1/60th of a minute. Okay, so you have these other conversions that are derived from the original 3 conversions. Now, the next thing I'd like to look at is I'd like to look at 2 different ways that we measure angles. We can measure angles in what they call degree, minute, second notation. And in degree, minute, second notation, you have exactly those 3 units measured. Okay? The degrees, the minutes, and the seconds will be in whole numbers. There will be no decimal numbers in this particular way to measure angles. The other way that we can measure angles is by using decimal degrees. Decimal degrees means that you're going to have, most of the time, a whole number unit in the front followed by a decimal and then a string of decimal numbers. Okay, but the only unit that you're going to have in this particular way to measure angles is degree. You're not going to have the minutes and the seconds. I want to look at some examples where we convert from one notation to the other. Let's say that we would like to convert from, let's first do decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, and seconds. That's the one that makes most sense from what I have written up above. So convert from decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, and seconds. You will be using your calculator for part of this. So let's say that we have 21.256 degrees. The first thing you want to do is you want to take the whole number part of this, the 21 that's in the front, and you want to put the degree symbol on that 21. So we have 21 degrees. Then we're going to break this decimal apart, kind of like the way you would break apart a mixed number. You have the 21, which is the whole number part, and then you have the 0.256, which is the decimal part. Break it apart by using a plus sign. Okay, and then we have plus 0.256. And then also, for right now, the unit symbol on that is degrees. What we would like to do is we would like to take that red degree symbol and we would like to convert the symbol only into minutes. Now, you cannot convert decimal degrees immediately to degrees, minutes, and seconds. You have to do it a piece at a time. In other words, you would first go from degrees to minutes, and then you would go from minutes to seconds. So we're going to have to do this in a couple of steps. Okay, on the next line down, what I will do is I will keep the 21 degrees, and then I will put on here 0.256, and then in place of my actual degree symbol, I want to put a unit measure that is minutes. Okay, think about how many minutes is in 1 degree. Okay, well, we know there's 60 minutes in 1 degree, so in place of that degree symbol, we're going to put 60 minutes. Okay, now this next part has to be done on our calculator. The 21 you do not want to enter on the calculator. However, the second part, you are going to perform this piece on your calculator. Perform this by just typing in 0.256 multiplied by 60. Okay, when you do this, you're going to get 15.36. Now, what are the units on this? The units on this is now in minutes. Okay. Now, we're going to take this as another step. We're going to look at what we want. We want 21 degrees to stay 21 degrees. Then we want to take the whole number piece of the 15.36 minute part, and we want to keep it as that whole number. So we're going to take 15 and put a minute symbol on it. Then we're going to once again split apart the decimal piece by using a plus sign, and then we're going to say 0.36. Well, in place of the minute symbol that I have up above, I'd like that minute symbol to turn into seconds. 1 minute is how many seconds? 60 seconds. And so that symbol turns into 60 seconds. Once again, what you want to do is you want to keep the 21 and the 15 by themselves. And then the second piece you're going to perform on your calculator. And so we have 21 degrees, 15 minutes, and then from the calculator you're going to get approximately 21.6 seconds. The instructions on this problem said convert decimal degrees into degrees, minutes, and seconds. In degrees, minutes, and seconds you do not have decimals contained within that notation, and so what I will do for my final answer is I will round. So I'll have 21 degrees, 15 minutes, and then 21.6 seconds rounds to 22 seconds. And there is my final answer. I will now do a conversion backwards. I'm going to be given decimal degrees, minutes, and seconds. I'm sorry, I will be given degrees, minutes, and seconds and asked to convert them to decimal degrees. So let's look at that example. So convert from degrees, minutes, and second to decimal degrees. Decimal degrees means the only symbol you're going to have in your problem are going to be degrees. The minute symbols and the second symbols need to go away. So on here, let's say that we have 45 degrees, we have 10 minutes and 15 seconds. Okay, on here, to do this conversion, we are once again going to break this up as a sum. Okay, now 45 degrees, that is already in our desired unit measures. So we're going to leave that alone. Now we have plus, and we have 10. Now the symbol up above was minutes. I need the minute symbol to change to a degree symbol. So in 1 minute, how many degrees are in that 1 minute? Well, minutes are smaller than degrees, and so it's a fraction of a minute, 1/60th of a degree. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a fraction of a degree. Okay, on the second part, also do plus. We have 15, and then we have our second symbols. Our second symbols also need to change into degree symbols. So this needs to be degrees. Okay? A second is a very, very small fraction of a degree. As a matter of fact, it's 1 over 3,600 of a degree. Okay? Now what I will do is on the calculator, you can go and you can actually type in this whole thing as it is written. Unlike the conversion I did up above, do you see that on this one line, you can convert everything in one step? Okay. On the calculator, you need to type in 45 plus 10 over 60 plus 15 over 3,600. And when you do that, you get a result of 45.1708 degrees. And that's the final answer. Anytime that I do conversions, I try to think about looking at what symbols I have and substituting an actual conversion for the symbol, and that makes my conversions a whole lot easier. This concludes the lesson on angle increments.